Who's got a big old yawn?
Who's got a big old yawn?
Uh,
I got a big
Marconi's got
old.
a big old yawn. Oh yeah.
Sheesh.
You know. Who's got a big old yawn? Says we're streaming.
We are streaming.
We are streaming. Play. Let's refresh this. Bow, bow, bow. Why can't I see the preview video? It says we're streaming, but I guess it's the
Yep.
dashboard that's a
Oh,
problem.
it says just now
Okay.
went live.
Okay. Okay.
And I got the notification on my phone.
It's like, why can't you see my preview video? There we go. It is. Hooray! Hi guys.
It's
Hi.
happening.
It's happening in the hood. We're here. Yeah. I changed some things around again. Look at my studio's different again. Yay!
It is the revolving door of
It's
studio.
like change the studio around. Okay. So on I did not feel well at all on Friday. Um,
Oh, yeah?
I was talking about how I was dealing with the dehydration issues.
That's right. Yeah.
On Thursday, and it got worse on Friday to the point where I went to urgent care in the morning. Like when I got up, I was like, I feel like poop. I'm going to urgent care. And so I get to urgent care and they asked me what I'm there for. And I said dehydration. And they said, how long has it been going on? And I said, probably about 4 days on and off. And she just looked at me and she goes, just so you know, we don't do IVs here. So if you need an IV, you're going to have to go to the hospital. And I was like, I am not going to the hospital. No.
I do not want IVs. No, thanks.
Well, and I mean, I would have been okay to just get an IV and feel better because I felt that crappy. Like I felt
Yeah.
that shitty. But,
Oof.
you know, not to get too political, but the state of healthcare in our nation, we all know, is really shitty. And, um, I don't have the best coverage, the insurance coverage, because I'm self-covered through the Affordable Care Act, and an emergency room
Mm.
visit would have been minimum $500 to go. And
Yep.
I'm like, I do not want to do this. I do not want to do this if I can avoid it. So, so yeah, I just got home. I got a bunch of Gatorade. I told Pat, I'm like, I told him what happened. And I'm like,
Ooh.
I'm taking the day off today. I don't feel well at all. And I rested. I slept all afternoon. And I woke up the next day and I was like, I feel better. Let's rearrange the house. Like, that's literally what happened.
I
So
feel amazing.
I did. So I had bought this. So the curtains that are behind me right now, I bought those and I put them on. I had other curtains that I didn't like. So I wound up getting these instead, which I really like. They're purple with these silver swirls on them and they're room darkening and it's really cool. And
Ooh.
and they're grommeted, so they have like the big holes at the top, so they're easy to just like swipe open and swipe close, because the other ones were like this pocket that just was like just really hard to open and close the curtains. So I did that. I changed everything around in the office. I was just like, and I'm like, it's amazing what happens when you feel good and when you feel like you've rested and you've, recovered from feeling like absolute poop. So,
Yeah.
so
Oh, yeah.
I still have to work on the lighting in here. I know it's not the best. I kind of adjusted the webcam to make it work that way better, so I'm not like totally washed out and dark, but I need to fix the lighting a little bit in here, so I will do that.
Well, we'll get it knocked out, figure out what's going to look good for it, and then we'll keep on doing awesome.
Draven Dresden, banned.
Yeah, I like him to be Wallaced too, and not
Banned for
grommeted.
terrible joke. Terrible joke. I gotta tweet the deets too.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, you do.
We are live. talking about personality.
Hey, Bim.
Twitch.tv/Tauren Think Tank.
Turn Tink Tank.
Tauren Think Tank. Da-ba-da. Da-ba-da-da. Okay. Hooray!
Hooray, I'm helping.
Dreaming got banned and I missed it. Hi, Bim. Draven and Bim have the best love-hate relationship in the chat room. It's the best.
Yeah.
So how's everybody?
Yeah, how's your evening going?
Yeah, how's your week going? How's your evening going? I've got a spike in his cat bed right at my feet, so hopefully he'll just stay here the whole night and not bug me. He's a good thing. He is a troublemaker. Hi, Fulls. Hi. It's good to see you. We are ready to do a show. Marshall Chanter. Hi, John. How are you? Good to see you. You are not aware. You have a chat room relationship. I don't know. Is it a rendezvous?
Your weekly rendezvous.
Yeah. Yes, this week has been tough. I have been... That is why I am trying to blanket the internet with cute cat pictures and videos of Spike with a fidget spinner.
That was very cute.
Oh my gosh, that was the funniest thing. Okay, so my fidget spinner is metal, so it makes just a very, very small sound, but it's high enough pitched that they hear it. And so they heard, you know, it's real soft, but it makes a bit of a sound, like a metal grinding sound. Mm-hmm. And so he heard me doing that. He heard me playing with it, and he was totally interested. So I kind of held it in front of him, and then he got that look. And I'm like, I am filming this because I know he's going to do something. It was so cute. It was so funny.
Oh, man.
The best kind of relationship, antagonistic. I agree. It's a good storytelling relationship. I like it. I like it.
Like it a lot.
I like it a lot. All right, chat room. Let me see if I can do this the right way. Everything is backwards on me. Let's see. Let's do this one.
Four logs get hungry too. It's Goulden at the drive-thru.
That was loud.
Oh, that was a fun one. That was a very fun one to make.
That was fun. Yes. That works there. Okay, good. When I moved everything, I'm like, I am not unplugging anything. I am not, I'm going to move everything as a unit. So I was making sure that none of my soundboard stuff would break and as it turned out, I wound up unplugging a cord accidentally and didn't know it. So I sat down after I had moved everything just earlier tonight. I sat down and start like making sure everything was set up correctly. Is the camera in the right place? Blah, 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 blah. And I hit the soundboard and there's nothing. I'm like, no, that's not what I was supposed to do. Well, it turned out that it was just a cord that got unplugged. So.
Oh, that's good.
I was like, oh my God, no!
Like,
Kalani,
no.
Kalani would murder me again. He'd be just like, Jules, you are hopeless. Like, you break this every time. So, yes.
You just need to stop. Just stop.
You just need to stop. The deeds are tweeted. I remembered how to do it. Like, I remembered how to use my fingers and to log in and do it. So, good for me, right? All right. Right. Awesome sauce. All right, chat room. All 10 of you that are here. It's good to see you. It's good to have you here. We're going to do a thing tonight called Tauren Think Tank. It's going to be beautiful. Beautiful. And with that, I'm going to ask you guys, yo. Are you guys ready? Are you guys ready? Are you ready?
Ready. Ready, ready, ready.
Ready, ready. Ba-bow.
Raise the roof.
I have had the raising the roof thing going on tonight.
Whoop, whoop.
Uh,
Beautiful.
beautiful. Yeah, it's beautiful. That's what it is.
Yes.
So, by the way, Marconin, both of our guests that I've been working on are making forward progress.
Yes.
Yes, we're making forward
Awesome.
progress. I am trying and trying and trying to make sure we can nail down a date. So yeah, and we're getting there. There's responses in the can. So and working back and forth with like, hey, when are you guys available? So
Now.
right now. I don't know how,
Yes,
but
right
right
now.
now. So we've got some guests working. I'm excited.
And I'm excited too.
It's gonna be fun.
So excited.
I know. All right, chat room, ready check time. You guys ready?
Whoop, whoop, whoop.
Press 1 for pull. Water. So much water. Press 1 for a fool. No Draven. Wake up, Raiders.
I need to wake up too.
I know.
Tired and it's hot in here already, and I have to turn off the fan.
Sucks.
I'm already. Ugh.
All right, we're gonna move this show along then, so you can feel like you're not dying.
I'm dying over here.
Don't be dying over there. There's no dying over there. There's no dying in baseball.
There's no dying in baseball.
There's no
Too bad that wasn't
dying
during
in
the show.
podcasting. Come on. No dying on camera, neither. Yeah,
Nope.
No. All right, chat room. You guys are ready. You know, you've got the flask. You need to do the polls and stuff. It's okay. It's all right. So we'll get this to Marconin. Are you ready to go?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you ready to do this?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do this thing. Tauren Think Tank episode. What this number? Okay. I'm in the wrong
Just
place.
239.
239. Yep. Okay. Tauren Think Tank episode 239 begins in 3, 2, 1.
You're listening to Tauren Think Tank, the podcast about the Blizzard gamer behind the keyboard.
It's episode 239 of Tauren Think Tank. Today is Thursday, July 27th of 2017. It is 8:08 p.m. Central Daylight Time. My name is Jules. I don't know what I'm doing or how I'm doing it because everything is different. Everything is not the same. It's weird, but that's okay because we're weird too. With me, as always, is my partner in weird, Marconin.
Yes. Hi, Jules.
Hi.
Did you say weird?
Very, very weird. There's just gonna be weird tonight. I can just tell.
Well, weird is my default setting, so I
True.
think you'll be in good company.
It's true. I feel a little discombobulated because I decided this weekend to rearrange my studio. And for the first time in 5+ years of podcasting, my kind of like data computer is on my left side instead of my right side. So where I'm reading the show notes and doing the soundboard and everything like that is now on my left instead of my right. It's the first time I've ever done it this way in 5+ years. And so I've moved my studio. I've worked in different places. I've worked in different. This is the first time that this has happened, and I'm realizing this now. I'm like, yeah, I'm messed up a little bit. I'm off my game. I'm not really there yet, but adjusting. Change is good. I decided to do that because of the way my room was laid out, and it would just make a better layout for everything. So,
Yeah.
but I feel messed up, Marconin.
Yeah, it's like you're trying to learn how to write with the opposite hand.
I know. Like I'm driving the show with the opposite hand, and it might go off the road a little bit like it did when we started the show. But hey, you guys are probably in your car or in your headphones at the gym or wherever you are, probably giggling at me a little bit. So then my work here is done.
Yeah. And then the person on the elliptical next to you is like, what are they doing? That person's weird. Just like we are. So you're in good company too.
It's so true. So welcome to another episode, 239 episodes of Tauren Think Tank, and here we are. So what has been shaking for you? What's new, exciting, fun, interesting storytelling? What's going on?
Well, one of the cooler things I did the last week is, of course, I play Pokemon Go, and on Saturday they had the Pokemon Go Fest at Grant Park in Chicago.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like a mini convention, and so when they ended up finishing, they released 2 legendary Pokemon into the wild, Lugia and Articuno.
Wow.
And being Team Mystic, I had to go get an Articuno. Now these things come as like legendary raids at gyms, and so you need, oh gosh, I think you need to battle them with up to 20 people in real life there.
Uh-huh.
So on Sunday and Monday, pretty much the whole day, I was going around downtown Little Rock with a couple of friends, and we were joining raids in real life and just talking and having fun with people. It was probably the most fun that I've done in an Arkansas summer heat, because it was hot.
Yeah, I can
It was
imagine.
very, very hot. Yeah. So we had lots of water. When we had to drive around, we had air conditioning, but it was a lot of fun. I tweeted out some pictures of a lot of, it was actually really just, I kind of had to sit back and kind of take it all in, and I took some pictures because I was like, this is really cool. There's tons of people, all different ages, all different backgrounds, ethnicities, creeds, everything. Just talk, people, they'd want to run up and like, are you guys doing Articuno? I was like, yeah, dude, we got room for more. Here's the code to get into our group, and we'll battle them and try and catch them. And it was a whole lot of fun. And it's, that was a lot of fun. And I was really happy to do that and meet some new people. It's like kind of like a little bit of BlizzCon, a little bit of raid night, all mixed together. And they're like, oh yeah, guys, are you going down over the bridge? Are you going to the State House? Like, yeah, we'll go to the State House. I got 3 with me. Oh, okay, well, I got 7. We're coordinating on Facebook and stuff like that. It was crazy, and it was nuts, and it was awesome. So and Niantic, the company that does Pokemon Go, announced that Articuno will only be catchable until Monday. Now, I did 6 Articuno raids, and once you defeat him, you get the chance to catch him, and you only have a limited number of specific Pokeballs to catch him, and he's got a low catch rate. So it's like trying to get your favorite drop off of a boss.
Yeah.
Not necessarily going to happen. I did 6 Articuno raids and only caught him once. Wow. So it's a low drop rate. And you've got to be skilled in throwing the Pokeball to get it. So now that I have Articuno, so now the pressure's not on, being a collector.
Right.
Well, the second legendary bird drops on Monday and is there for a week. And then the following week, the third one drops. And they're only available each during that week. So I called my coworker when he showed me that, and I was like, so I guess I know what we're doing for the next couple of weekends, huh? We're going to be staying all around there coordinating and doing all this crazy stuff. So, I mean, it's really neat. It's, as if you were going to a raid night in real life. It's exactly what it's like, You all get, oh, you guys got your Pokemon ready? You got, guys potted, flask, ready to go? Yeah. All right, guys, let's get in the group. Let's pull, and it's, there were cheers when they'd capture them. And it's like, oh, I got him. People are like, oh, congrats, dude. It's like your favorite piece of gear or a mountain dropping. People are congratulating others. It was just really cool. And it is some of the best parts about my digital gaming life brought into the real world. And I got to say, Niantic did a really good job with how they planned this out, because it's getting people out. It's getting people to go meet other people, and it's doing what it was supposed to do.
Yeah.
So that was probably the biggest thing for me the last week. Trying to think what else I did. That was pretty much the biggest thing. I'm trying to remember. I have barely slept a little bit since then. I've been working on my arts and crafts stuff. a little bit of success and just being a real noob at it.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like, I suck. Why am I even doing this? Why, I kind of get very self-defeative.
Yes.
And
Yes.
but then I have to remember that I have not done this. I have not done some of this art stuff since junior high because they made me choose between art and music back then because they
Yeah.
were the same period. So I had
Right.
to choose. So I mean, I'm getting better. I think we'll see. I don't know. It's all a slow process and trying to figure it out.
And they say every person who talks about art, especially art, is that you have to keep practicing in order to improve. And if it's literally like, it's just like keep on keeping on. If it's something you want, then go for it because it will pay off if you keep trying. But
Yeah.
it's going to be a lot of like, looking back and going, oh man, like I sucked really bad at the beginning, but and that and that happens to me with my jewelry, with my chainmail. It's like I look at the stuff that I had done earlier, even some pieces that I made where I was like, oh, this was amazing, and then I look at it and say, I could have done better. I could have changed that up or changed the ring that I used or something like that. And wishing that I could go back and change it,
Yeah. Is it bad that I'm already at that point and I've only barely started on the first one?
But that means you're
kidding.
learning. It means you're learning and you're seeing things as you go through like, oh yeah, I wish I could have done that better.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm just going to keep at it and see how it goes. We'll
Yeah.
see.
Yes. Don't give up. I think it's, I think having a creative outlet like that is so helpful because it changes the way your brain works. It changes how you think and how you see things, how you view, things in the world too. So, plus it's nice to be having something to be excited about,
It really is. And I would have worked on it some today, but I didn't get home till late. And I was like, well, I can't start on it and then have to do the show. So
Yeah.
maybe after the show, we'll see.
Yeah.
See how tired I am. But
exactly.
yeah, it's fun and I'm learning and I'm awful at it, but I'll get better.
There's nowhere to go but up.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
So
very
true.
true. That's very true. But yeah, that's, I reserved my hotel for the solar eclipse next month.
Awesome. So where
Yes,
are you going to end up to see it?
St. Louis.
St. Louis,
That's
okay.
that's the closest area just south of it is going to have almost 3 minutes of totality. And
Okay.
I am so just so jazzed about going to see it. And I've got some friends that live up there. One of my old roommates from college lives up there, and so I'm going to get a chance to see him.
Good.
And it's going to be awesome. So that's another check mark on the accomplishments to get ready for it. So that's going to be fun. I can't wait. It'll be my first solar eclipse that I can remember.
Yes. Yeah.
And that
I think
August
I was real
21st.
little.
Yeah. It's oh man. I can't wait. I'm going to try and take a camera and take some pictures of it and just do all this cool stuff with it. I'm nerdy and excited about it. Just can't wait.
That's awesome. When is that again? When is that coming up?
August 21st. It's
August 21st.
actually, yeah, 3. I think it's 3 weeks ish,
Okay.
something like that. About 3-4 weeks away.
Awesome.
Yep, 21st. Can't wait. If anywhere in the U.S. you can see some of the sun get blocked out.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much any of it. You can see anywhere in the U.S. you can see some of it, but there's that one little line, and if you Google Map Eclipse 2017, there's a NASA page that you can zoom in and see exactly where the lines are for totality, and
Right.
where you can see it and get all that cool numbery stuff. So it's fun, and I'm excited about it, and so I'm gonna be thinking about it for the next few weeks. Can't wait.
Very, very cool. Anything else that's been going on?
Not that I can think of at the moment. Just work and the normal stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
What about you?
So, I've been busy. It just feels really busy right now with everything coming on. We've got, things to plan right now with the Kickstarter for the CTR party. It's like just digging out all the data from the surveys is taking up a ton of my time. Plus, we're getting ready in less than a month now. Pat and I are heading to California for a podcast movement because we have Pat is speaking there, and we have a small little kiosk there to talk about Podcast Launchpad, which is Pat's ebook and resource about how to get started in podcasting. And so I'm going to be running that booth for 3 days. And
Oh, awesome.
yeah. And so I'm excited for that. It's just like there's so much that you got to do for that. Plus, we're also doing all the planning for the party. And as it turns out, like we're looking at the timeline of everything. And the month of October for Pat is insane. He's pretty much wiped out for the entire month of October because it's his 20th wedding anniversary that month. So he and his wife are planning a big trip. And he is also speaking at a panel at TwitchCon, which is 2 weeks before BlizzCon. So there's that. So he's going to be gone for that. And he's probably going to be gone for like 10 days prior with the anniversary trip. And then after that, it's BlizzCon. So we're like,
Oh, wow.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Cause, that's going to make things really hectic. You know, I'm going to have to be basically running things on my own. Which is fine. I can do that. It's just that that's also crunch time heading into the party. So, we're just trying to like lead everything backwards a little bit to just like say, okay, like, you know, we're already working on the 5-year anniversary pin because that takes 4 weeks to get delivered and the design for that and all those things. So, so it's been insane right now. Plus I'm now fully into my new exercise routine with Nicole and Tim from Heroes of Fitness, which is great. But you know, I'm working into my schedule every day as well. So I did like the first day that I had like the exercise routine, it was like maybe about 30 minutes of exercises and weight training and that kind of thing. And I'm like, I feel pretty good. I'm a little sore. I'm like, yeah, okay, I feel okay. And the next day I tried to get out of bed and went, I'm gonna die. My stomach muscles were so sore. And I'm like, yeah, okay, I did stuff. I did a lot of stuff.
You put in some work, that's for sure.
I did. And so it was just like, oh, ow, ow, ow. But it was good. You know, I felt like I'd really done some stuff. I mean, I'm pretty much doing something almost every day of the week, which is a little bit different. It's not what I've been doing in the past. So I'm, you know, having to adjust my schedule a bit and also working on chainmail stuff and trying to squeeze that in the evenings, like on the weekends and stuff like that. So it's been good. I've been getting a lot done, but I will say that it feels like my schedule's very full. And it's good. It's good. But I enjoy the fact that I'm busy. It's just like sometimes I'm just literally like, just shut down for a little bit and just like sit on the couch with a cat on your lap and watch TV and be chill for a little bit. Just take some time down. And I think especially this week, I know a lot of people have made comments and said this, and I feel the same way. This week has been very, very stressful in a lot of people's emotional circuits. You know, we've been overwhelmed by a lot of information and things that are not good. And I had to really remind myself, especially yesterday, just like turn off Twitter for a while. Don't look at the news for a while. Let's just go do something else for a bit and take a little time away, because self-help and self-care is so important. It's like so important, especially now.
It definitely is, because you get caught up with other people's problems and things that you have no control over, and just start to worry for worry's sake and stretched really, really thin. And sometimes it's good to just close all that off for a little bit and just kind of just take stock of what you have in your immediate area, you know, your four walls and your animals and just things that you like, you know, remind yourself of things that you love and you like, and just, you know, decompress, you know, try and shut out the world for a little bit, relax, and then you can go back out into the world. Yeah.
I mean, I found myself getting very, very upset and very angry this week, which has been I haven't been getting to that point for a while. I hit a breaking point, and then I was like, all right, you need to take a break and you need to step away. And so that's what I did. And exercise has been good for that. You know, it's been a good outlet for that as well. I have to say, I am this what I'm doing right now is super appealing to my personality type, because I'm accountable to 2 trainers. Like, it's like, I'm not only checking in and tracking all of the workouts that I'm doing on the app that they gave me, but I'm also doing these lessons as part of the nutrition coaching that I'm doing as well. And so it's like every single day I've got something that I need to do, and it's like homework. I have to turn it in, or I have to check in, or I have to track my stats. And I work best when I'm accountable to somebody who is important to me, like is like a customer to me, if you will.
Yeah.
So it really appeals to my personality type. I don't want to let them down by saying I didn't do this. And so that it makes me move forward and motivated, which is pretty darn cool.
Oh yeah.
And so yeah, it's been so far so good. Soreness and achiness, but not in a bad way. I got past the dehydration that I was having last week too, which is good. And,
good.
Yeah. So that's what's been going on in our worlds. And we're gonna do a think tank question this week of someone else's world. See how things are going with them. Sound good?
Sounds good to me.
Let's do this.
Yeah.
Let's do
I like it.
I like it too.
Tauren between options? Let Triple T help you sort it out.
We have an anonymous female who has written to us this week, and we call her Katie Derry affectionately. Anytime we have someone who is anonymous but does not want to use their name, we have that name for them. So this is Katie. I'm going to call her Katie. And she keeps it short and sweet. She says, "Dear Jules and Marconin, this week I realized that I am old." Me too. What what do I do? I always thought of myself as 16, no matter how many years had passed. I've always been a gamer and thus around younger people. But lately, the things that they like that I don't is getting longer. My patience is getting way shorter for dealing with idiots. I'm cynical and tired and watching history repeat itself. I'm cynical and tired of watching history repeat itself. I'm not unhappy or anything, but I feel like I've lost something. I don't know how to find it again. Thanks, from Katie. So when I read this email, I was just like, man, I get this. I understand this. Like, I get this. I don't, like, we obviously don't know from Katie's email, like, how old she is. So it's hard to tell, like, what age group are we dealing with. But I can tell you this. Just knowing both of us as we are, Marconin has lived through 3 decades. I've lived through 4. And, when you look at it and say, I'm not the same person each decade, that's pretty accurate, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I would say so. I would definitely say that that's the case.
It's funny because, I know, and I do this a lot. I think about, man, I never thought that I would like or dislike this. Like, I always said to myself, that'll never happen, right? That'll never happen. Like, I'll always enjoy this, or I'll never like that. And then as you get older, you get to that point where you're just like, well, I'm kind of surprising myself. I guess I do like that, or I guess I don't like that. It's okay to do that.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of some good examples of things that had happened like that. So, here's a great thing. Like, I thought when I was a kid that I would love to swim in a pool for the rest of my life, because the pool was the coolest thing in the world.
Yeah. That was the cool thing.
It was the coolest thing in the world. You could not get me out of a pool when it was summertime and I could be near a pool. And I was lucky enough to have a grandma and grandpa who had a pool, and then an aunt and uncle that had a pool, and friends that had pools. So it was like, and then we went to a summer camp place that we had, and they had pools. And so it was like, I swam my entire childhood, and I got to adulthood and I was just like, F that. Like, no, pools are like, they're like germ-filled, pee-ridden, kid-infested nightmares. And boy, did I feel old when I was saying that. But there's an example of like something where I was like, I thought when I was a kid, like that would never ever change. That would be something I would always love.
Mm-hmm.
And it, you get older and you realize like your entire perspective changes on it. And that's like, it's a very simplistic example and not really what Katie is talking about. But I think it's a good example to start with at least.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and Bim in the chat room says, I never lost my love of being in the pool. What I don't like now is all the other people in them.
Right? Like you didn't care as much when you were little, but.
Yeah. And I kind of feel the same way about that. It's like, I still like getting in the pool, but it's just like, there's all these strangers and I feel very self-conscious. So I was like, maybe not. Maybe not.
Yeah. No, I don't think I've gotten in a pool it's been probably at least a decade. So
yeah,
it's been a long time. And, and it changes. But
mm-hmm.
I think, so what I did is I looked up, like I know from my own personal experience, like when I was younger, when I'm saying like younger, I'm saying in my 20s, I used to have a very short fuse and very little tolerance for people's, as she says, idiocy.
Mm-hmm.
Or people were being dumb or, people not acting appropriately. And I had so little patience for that because it was like, basically get your crap together, people, like figure it out that, and as I've gotten older, I've learned how to put myself into other people's shoes.
Yeah, that's definitely a sign of maturity. Is trying to see someone from where they're coming from.
Yeah. And so I was a punk when I was in my 20s. It really was. I was. Like you're grinning at me, but I really was. Like
I was thinking about like the Ramones jacket and the spiky hair, that kind of punk.
That.
and like the ripped jeans and the sneakers,
But it was like, very judgmental, very opinionated, very thinking that I knew everything. It wasn't a good personality trait. But, looking at it, that's pretty typical of someone in their 20s. That's, that's how it kind of functions. And as you mature, it gets better and, you understand, you think about perspective more. And I'm like, okay, so I dug a little bit further and I was like, where does this come from? What is this? And research, actually, psychology has what they call the big 5 personality traits. Like there are 5 big personality traits that they consider to be the keys to someone's core personality. And those are extroversion, traits like energetic and sociable, agreeableness, traits like considerate and kind, conscientiousness, traits like hardworking and orderly, neuroticism, traits like nervousness and tenseness, and openness, traits like artistic and creative. And when psychologists do research for personality, those are the big 5 traits that they look at to see if those are things that, people, are there adjustments? Are there things that people have differences in, especially, and they'll do a lot of age studies. There's a lot of age studies out there.
Oh, yeah.
And, research has proven that, yes, our personality most definitely changes in those ways. When you're a kid, you're not as fearful of a lot of things as you are when you get to adulthood and you're like, there's consequences for my actions. I'll stay, I will, drive too fast and, walk on the edge of that cliff and not worry about it. And then you get to an adult and you're just like, that is so stupid. Like, how could I have even thought about doing that? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's like when I went to the Grand Canyon, there were kids playing on the edge and their parents are just looking at them like, why are you doing that?
Yeah.
Why are you letting them do that? Get back here.
And kid's like, whatever, I'm not going to get hurt. Nothing's going to happen to me.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So, yes, there's proof that our personalities do change over time. The thing about it for Katie is that when you start to see these traits in yourself that you don't like, can you change them? Can you change the personalities of yourself, like, can you force it to change? Is it something that can be done? And so, what I did is I found a study that was done in psychologists at the University of Illinois, finding that most people are dissatisfied with their own personality, wish to change it in a more positive direction. That makes sense. We're all very self-critical. We all just kind of, think about this type of thing. For each of the big 5 personality factors, only 13% reported being satisfied with themselves as they are. So they did this study basically where they gave these participants in this study an opportunity to say, you're going to focus on trying to change these personality traits of yourself. And they did. And many of them showed success in being able to do that. And so they were like, yeah, okay, see, there's proof. Yes, you can do this. But in the closing of this article, it says, over the course of our lifetime, we often become more agreeable and conscientious due to greater emotional maturity. Makes sense. Is this just a natural part of aging, or do our personalities change because we work to make ourselves more agreeable and conscientious? Recognizing that personality can be changed can lead to more effective treatment for people with personality problems, as well as helping to overcome resistance to change. All too frequently, patients insist that they are incapable of change when they are actually either unwilling or afraid to try.
Yeah.
It was a very interesting thing to read because it was like, yes, I hear so many, like, I don't know, like, you can't change someone's personality, or they're too old to change, or they're set in their ways, they're never going to change themselves. I think that's bullshit.
Yeah, I do too. It's you can teach an old dog new tricks. Yeah. You can. I mean, but the thing is you got to be willing to do it.
Right.
And you've got to be more self aware and and self disciplined.
Right.
In it. It's like changing. It's like what you and I are trying to do with changing how we are, like with exercise, with stuff. You have to be more aware. You have to hold yourself accountable. You have to be self-reflective.
Yes.
Of it. You have to think about it constantly. And there's been times when I was getting, older and I'm starting to put myself in other people's shoes, and I'll be quick to judge or quick to snap to a decision. But then I think that, there's a guy I worked with who is very just snap judgment of everybody. And he hated talking about this stuff with me because I'd always turn it around and show him the other side. I was like, well, you don't know that. What do you think about this? And it was something that I had to work at and to be more aware of, because, there's, I may not agree with somebody, but I can understand where they're coming from and understand why they feel the way they feel. And I can sympathize with that.
Yeah.
And or if, I didn't have that kind of upbringing, but I can definitely try and imagine putting myself in their shoes and trying to and meet them halfway. And that comes with, not only, I guess, with age, but also with practice. You have to work at it. Just like, getting up and going to the gym after work when you've had a long day. You're like, I just want to go home, watch TV. Well, you've got to discipline yourself. And I think that's really what it comes down to when altering your personality in this way, is you got to want it. You got to be willing to put in the effort, and you've got to constantly remind yourself that I'm building a better me. I'm doing that, or I'm recapturing something that I've lost. I'm trying to think, because when I look at, kids these days, quote unquote, and I see and hear, some of the music they listen to and some of the things they do and say online, I'm like, that's dumb. Like, that is so stupid. Why are you kids worried? But then I think, well, yeah, I probably said and did stupid stuff. There's no probably there. Yes, I did do stupid stuff.
Yeah.
And I just have to remember that's kind of the generational thing. So I have to take it in that kind of context. It's like, yeah, they're kids being kids. One day they'll be my age and they'll look back at the next generation and they'll think that stuff too.
Yes.
So it's just, when we do travel through life, we do have these sections of maturity and looking back and looking forward changes our perspective and our outlook. But you don't necessarily have to leave everything, because I believe in being a child at heart. I still, I don't feel like my age, and I know you don't either. Sometimes, yeah, sometimes it'll come through. I'm like, oh gosh, when I think about, there's somebody who I'm talking to, like if my, the person that gives me a beer at the restaurant was born in, 1996 or 97. And I was like, oh gosh, now I feel old. Those moments of recognition. Yeah, sure. You feel old. But
Yeah.
other than that, I try hard not to, because I'm putting in the effort and I'm making sure that it's kind of like, I'm sorry for going on all these tangents and stuff, but it's like around the holiday season. I work in retail. I worked in retail, and retail is it's ground zero, and it ruins people's spirit of the season.
Yeah, it does.
But I think to an extent it's only because you let it. Because I don't let it. I make a conscious effort to remember the good things about that time of the year and the good parts of the people who treat me like dog crap when I'm in the store. I know that they still have a family that they care about and love, and that's fine. But I'm going to keep it here in my heart and in my head, and it's not going to go anywhere. Yeah. And you have to hold on to those things that you like. From the, like that childlike wonder on Christmas morning and stuff like that. You can still hold on to that. You don't have to put it all away. Yes, you can grow up. Yes, you can be more mature, but you don't have to leave all that stuff behind you. There's no one that says you have to.
Right.
And so now that I've gone down all these different tangents, I'll let you talk for a minute.
Well, number one, you said in one of your branches that there is, in order to change, you have to have an awareness of the problem.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that is the number one thing that we need to talk to Katie about, is that, when you think about feeling like, okay, I'm tired of dealing with idiots, you're aware of the fact that it bothers you. So there's a technique that I have recently been introduced to through my coaching with the things I'm doing with Nicole and Tim from Heroes of Fitness. And it's a system called the 5 Whys. And so it literally is like being an annoying kid at school to yourself and asking your question to say, okay, give yourself a scenario of where you're dealing with someone who you feel like is being an idiot, and ask yourself, why does this bother me? And answer that question. So this bothers me because I can't understand why they're acting this way. Why can't you understand why they're acting this way? Second why. And it goes down the chain 5 times. And I will tell you what, it changes your perspective on what it is, because you're not necessarily mad about what's on the surface. There is a lot more underneath it that you can get to. And you can use this technique with pretty much anything that you're stuck on, that you don't understand, that you need to find out more information about. And if you don't have the ability to do it for yourself, have someone that you trust or that you really like, and have them do this to you. And it's in the literal sense is like, I'm trying to think of an example that Marconin could. So Marconin, I'm going to use you as a guinea pig for a second here.
Oh boy.
Science. And if you don't have to get too deep with this in terms of like what topic you use, but so can you tell, Marconin, is there something that you're afraid of right now? Something that you fear or that makes you anxious?
What, like just something small, or talking like huge
in your
existential?
Life, yeah, something in your life right now that's making you really anxious.
Oh goodness, let's see. Gosh, now I'm on the spot and I have to think about it.
Okay, let me ask you this. Okay, so when you had your broken chair, was there something about that made you were you really anxious about replacing that chair?
Well, I wouldn't say anxious. I felt like, it's a broken chair. It looks dumb. It's, I could do better. Gosh, and then I was like, gosh, I feel poor because I have this busted up chair.
Yeah. Okay.
And I was just like, well,
you're kind of doing it already with the 5 Whys.
Kind of doing it all.
Yeah, you're kind of doing it. So, but if you had an issue where you were kind of, I'm putting you on the spot here and I didn't plan this out, but
that's okay.
So let me give you an example for myself then, and I can try to run it that way.
Okay.
So I have anxiety right now about going to the gym to do some of the floor exercises and weight stuff that I have to do as part of my program. Okay.
Yeah,
And
I'm there with you.
okay. So I have to, so 5 whys. Why, Jules, do you feel anxious about doing this? And my answer to that is I feel like people are watching me and criticizing me, and it makes me feel bad. And then I ask myself, okay, well, why does it make you feel bad? It makes me feel bad because I feel like I am embarrassed that I'm unskilled around all of these other people, and that really makes me, it makes me feel really embarrassed, and but why do and so you have to keep kind of digging down, and maybe you don't need to go all the way down to 5 levels, but in that respect, like I kind of dug into it. Like I'm embarrassed. I'm ashamed to be able to go there and try to like do these things. And so it was like, okay, well, there's the core of the issue. Like you're embarrassed, you're scared, you're humiliated by going to do this. How can you fix this? Well, you're going to do this at home for now. And so, but these are the types of things that you can do, Katie, to say to yourself, why does this person make me feel like an idiot? Why do I feel like this person is an idiot? Why do they frustrate me? Those are the questions that you can start asking yourself. It helps you to understand the problem, because you can't really address the problem if you don't understand the problem.
Yeah.
So that's one of the big things that I think is what you were talking about earlier, which I really liked. The other thing I wanted to talk about too was how you can change your own mindset on it. Like you were talking about with the retail and allowing, sometimes you're good at it and sometimes you're not. Like there are just some days where you're tired and grumpy and you haven't gotten enough sleep because you've worked 14 hours the day before, and and you're hungry because you didn't get any time to eat anything, and it's harder than it would normally be to keep the spirit of the season in your heart. And
everybody has their moments.
Everybody has their moments. And so this is another lesson that I have learned recently, is that sometimes you just have to look at yourself in a perspective of saying, you know what, I'm not perfect. I'm not perfect. And I'm never always going to be perfect when it comes to handling a situation properly, but I can learn how to do it better. And most of us think about ourselves in a perspective of perfect 100%. You're hitting that 100% mark every time, and therefore you've done something right. But as soon as you don't, you failed because you didn't hit 100%.
Yeah.
Now flip that on its ear for a second. I just totally smacked myself in the head. Flip that self on its ear for a second and think about it from 0% moving up, starting from 0 and improving up forward. Because if you start at 0, you've got nowhere else to go but up. And so it changes your perspective, about the way you think, the thoughts that you have about things. And it can really, I don't know, it makes me a lot less like striving for perfection and feeling like I need to push myself to be the best, to be the perfect, role model every single day. Like I'm gonna screw up. I'm gonna get pissed off. Someone's gonna get under my skin. It happened this week, and I'm like, all right, well, it happened. Just go and deal with it.
Yeah. Think of it more like leveling up as opposed to dropping in on mythic rating.
Yes.
I mean, you're starting with a sword and a board, in at whatever starting zone your WoW race is, and you're improving from there. That's a better way to look at it than, because you'll mess up. Yeah, you'll pull too many of the bad things and die, but that's okay. You'll go back to go back from the graveyard to your body, and you keep on going.
Yeah.
So yeah, you'll get mad at some of whatever these kids are doing these days that make her idiots, and you see like, well, and the good thing one thing about history repeating itself is what's going to happen next.
Yeah.
You kind of take a little comfort in like, that guy's acting like an idiot. He's going to do something dumb one of these days, and I'm going to warn him. He's going to do something dumb and mess up, and he's like, oh, there he does it. Yep. Okay. Called it. Another one and got it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's another benefit of age, is you're seeing those cycles happen and behaviors and stuff. And, and that's, I can almost take comfort in that because it's like you've got a tiny bit of clairvoyance. Like you've got the experience where it's going to happen. So you're like, well, I warned you. And then it happens like, I told you so,
But except that, a true mature person doesn't say I told you so. They do in their head.
You don't say it in your head. Yeah,
You
in
say
your
it
head.
in
Don't
your
say
head.
it out loud. Yeah, don't say it out loud. Just be like, yeah, I knew it was going to happen, and then you're like, are you okay? Yeah, I'm okay. I just did something stupid. It's like, I know.
Yep. We've all been there. It's hard
Yep.
though. And the other part of it is sometimes you just have to make a decision to remove yourself from certain circles.
Sure.
I was in a Discord community where I was feeling, like I don't usually feel old or out of touch or anything like that when it comes to like, the nerd, the geek, gamer community. But this community in itself, it was filled with people who were like high school, college, right in that age group. And they made me feel super out of touch, super old.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was the geezer in the group. It just felt like I was the mom, and it wasn't good. It wasn't a good feeling. And eventually I decided to leave because it just didn't feel like a good fit. And it happens. It's just, especially now, like we don't really have a ton of experience when it comes to like the aging gamer community, because like gaming and all of the video gaming and that kind of thing started when I was a kid, and younger than that, a little bit younger than me. But we're kind of aging along with it. Like it's,
yeah.
And so as like the people who had the Ataris, the Commodores, the Pong systems are aging and still playing those games, but we're now getting into our 40s and 50s, and there's a whole new group of gamers coming in every generation. It's like this thing where you're just like, am I ever going to be too old to feel like I belong here anymore? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, and I do. And I think it's because it's such a young thing compared to other forms of entertainment or media that, we kind of feel like it's our thing. I was born alongside it. I grew up with Mario and Centipede and all this stuff, and it's these the new generation of gamers are coming up and they're making it their own. They've got the newest technology. They're doing different things with it. And, and they're going to do it their own way, just like we did it with ours. And we've got to learn, like they're going to do their own thing, but they're not going to take it away from us.
Right.
And we, that's the thing is you own it. Mostly just, kind of in the same way with, like you're still feeling your age, sure, but you don't need to, you're getting older, but you don't need to own that you're getting older. Like, don't go gentle into that good night. Just hold on to it as long as you can, and you can still enjoy it. There's, it's like the grandmother that plays WoW. She had, that's something fun that she does. And as we get older, we can still keep it, and it's not necessarily being childish to still enjoy video games. It's you're still enjoying what you enjoy. It's like when my grandfather on my mom's side, he loves movies. Growing up, that's kind of where I think my love of movies came from that side of my family's. And my uncle is a huge Trekkie, has been since the original series came out. He didn't let that go just because I grew up and started loving Next Generation more or loving these things. He's still holding on to it because it's his. He's got some stock in it. He took ownership of it. Just like older gamers, we can still take ownership of what we like,
right?
And that's okay. And the younger generation does their own thing. But we're still, and like you said, you were in that community, but you felt that disconnect.
Yeah.
You felt that kind of that barrier between the two. You're still like, cousins in arms with video games, but they're speaking a different language, or they're making it their own, and there's nothing wrong with that.
They're concerned about things that aren't important to me. I think that's where the disconnect was the most. Is like,
gotcha.
Where their life is focused around things that I've already passed. The discoveries have already been made. They're out there just getting out in the world, haven't bought their first car or their first house, or finished school or gotten married, or and so
Mhm.
I've already cleared a lot of those milestones, and so their life is more about, oh my gosh, like I totally stayed up till 3 o'clock in the morning, and now I've got to go to class in the morning, FML. It's like
Yeah.
that's their major concern. It's like, okay, yeah, I get you. I mean, I feel you, but we're not feeling it
Yeah.
together.
It's kind of like somebody in the guild saying, "Oh man, Dead Mines is awesome. That thing is so tough. Oh man, I can't believe the ogre in there. He does." Yeah, we know, kid. We did that 10 years ago.
Yep.
Come talk to me when you get to 110, okay? Like
Yeah.
you kids enjoy your stockades and your razor fin crawls and everything. They're just not to where we are yet.
Yeah.
Still
It's there's always going to be an age line. There's always going to be a time where you're going to kind of age out of where you thought you were. It's just part of life. It's part of maturity.
Mhm.
And so the trick of it is to accept the fact that it's going to happen,
Mhm.
and to surround yourself with people who are more like-minded. Like the majority of my friendships are people who are within 10 years of my age.
Mhm.
I don't have a lot of close friends who are in their 20s, because there's like a 20-year age difference. It is significant. There is a huge difference in life experience and understanding where things are now. Like, yeah, I can be kind of a mom figure to someone like that now, to say, hey kid, I know where you are. I've been there, but I'm not going through it right along with them. And so it can be a disconnect. It can be very uncomfortable for both of you. And
Yeah.
if you're in a group of people who are just like, that's what their concerns are and that's what they're doing, and like as Marconin said, like, it, you can, like, clairvoyance, you can see what's going to happen before it happens. And you're just like, yeah, I'm not even going to get involved with this because I already know. Like, I already know
Yeah.
how this is going to end up. But they have to learn it. They have to find it. They have to go down that path, and they have to get there.
Mhm.
And so there are a lot of times where I've been feeling my age, but at the same time, I'm just like, you know what? I'm not going to let that drive me, to do, like, I can still be elbow deep in video gaming culture and, do all of that kind of thing and understand it and enjoy it. It doesn't matter how old I am, as long as I can talk about it in a way that makes sense, like going on a show like Convert to Raid or something like that, and doing that. So
Yeah.
as long as I've keep that mindset, it doesn't matter. So, but if I have a mindset to say, oh God, those kids and their video games, I mean, I've already separated myself from them and made
Mhm.
myself feel and made myself sound like I'm not connected to that at all. So for Katie, cynicism is a good thing, but it can really color all your judgment, all of it.
Yeah, it needs to be tempered.
Yeah. Yeah. Because you have to remember this about a lot of people, especially who are younger than you, is that they know not what they do.
Mhm.
You've been down that road and you've been there, you've had the experience, you've seen it, and you know what's coming, and you're like, how could they not see this coming? How could they not know? Like, you have
Same
to,
way you didn't see it
same way
coming.
you did it. Or same way you didn't think of it, and you didn't have that, like, that overall view of the world,
Mhm.
and to understand that. And it's so hard to, like, like, actually, let me switch paths here. It's so easy to forget. It's so easy to forget what it was like for you when you went through it.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
I gotta say, like, it's so easy to be cynical. It's not as easy to shut it down.
Yeah, because it's a lot it's a lot easier to just snap to that quick cynicism, and you're like, you idiot kid. instead of, like we said earlier, put yourself in their shoes. They don't know any better, and they haven't made those mistakes or learned those lessons from others yet.
Yeah. Yeah. I see there's someone that I follow on Twitter that I've met in person a couple of times, and I'm not going to name any names, of course, but this person I think is in his he's in his probably in his mid 30s. And I've watched over time because I've known him. It's not you. You're just like you're putting it.
I was gonna hey wait now.
It's not you.
He mid-30s.
But he's been thinking, like, I've watched this progression. I've known him for several years, and his posts have become a lot more like bitterly directive and absolute. So a good example of this is to say, like, he doesn't want to have children in his lifetime, he wants to live the child-free lifestyle, but has very little tolerance for anybody who chooses to have children, and will make statements about saying things like all kids should be corralled into a certain area of the world and allow those of us that don't want to have kids to never have exposure to them. Like very absolutist thinking.
Tough.
And very tough. Like, there was a post that it was on, someone posted it on his Facebook page that said that this mother was bringing a baby into this bar, and, she was defending the fact that she was bringing this baby into a bar. And if you go in Minnesota, like tap rooms that don't serve food, they just serve like beer. They brew their own beers, tap rooms. There are babies all over the place. Like they bring babies into these places, which for me, I look at this and go,
That's kind of how I'm thinking about that too, where there's no food, I was like, I don't know.
Yeah, it's basically a place for the adults to go drink, and because the baby is like in a carrier or whatever, then they just bring the babies that they can go drink. And so this person someone posted onto this person's page, like, I already know what you're going to say about this article. And his response was like, it all caps or something like that. It said, babies don't belong in bars. Bars are where people go to get away from babies. And it was funny, but it was like, and I'm like, yeah, that's kind of true. But at the same time, I was like, you know what? He's got some very, very absolutist thinking. Like, really absolutist thinking. And I can see that it's hit that time in his progression of his personality where he's just kind of saying, I'm going to just say what I think, and I don't care what you think about what I think, and then, in an antagonistic way. I doubt that that's going to last forever.
Yeah.
I doubt it. I mean, there are people that are literally like that. They hit the switch and they're just like, F it, I'm going to say whatever I want to say, and screw you if you don't like it, because this is who I am. So, I don't know. But I have seen this person change over time. And just knowing them for several years on social media. So, where's it going to go from there? And so, Katie, if you don't like the way that you're feeling, if you don't, you said in your letter, I feel like I've lost something. That's where you could start with the 5 whys. And really kind of demonstrate that on yourself. Like, why does this frustrate me? And then after you answer that question, what about that is, so whatever answer that was, why do you have that answer? And it's just, and it's annoying. Like like that little kid.
Yeah, like a little kid that shouldn't be in a bar asking you questions.
Right.
Why?
But why, Marconin?
Because I said so.
No, and you can't do that as part of the 5 whys.
And you can't do that. That's not an acceptable answer.
No. For the record, babies don't belong in bars. I'm sorry. I know. Like, if I'm going to go out to drink a beer, I don't want a baby screaming there. I don't. I'm sorry. I'm going to be absolutist about that.
Well, if it was, if it's like a Chili's or an Applebee's where there's food. Yeah. I mean, you go get some food, but, that's like you're saying, that's I don't really think that's the place for a small kid. You know?
No. No, and that happens all over Minnesota. Like I've seen it so many tap rooms I've gone to. They bring their babies and I'm like, this place smells like diapers now. Like I don't want that. No. No. No.
Well, that, and if there's smoking in there, it's like, why are you subjecting your kid to that?
You can't smoke in there.
You can't smoke in there?
No,
Good. Okay.
No, there's no smoking in
Good.
any public places in Minnesota. So no, you can't do that. But they're drinking beer. They're drinking beer. So it's a bar. It was just like, okay. Anyway, distraction. But it's okay that you're getting older because you can't stop that. It's not. It's gonna happen. What you can control is how you start to view the people around you and decide if this is still who you want to be around. If these are people that really do make you happy. And if they don't, you're okay to say, I think I need to move on. Find another crowd.
You can find another crowd of older gamers too. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, heck, most of the people I game with are, like Jules said, within a 10-year radius, except in 10 or 20, somewhere like that. And I have a great time, it's not like I'm just like, oh, I'm great. I'm raiding with the old farts now. It's like, no, we're all, we're all the same, around the same age. We have this around the same outlook and enjoying the game that we love to play, or the whatever it is that we like to do together. So maybe you can still take your love for whatever the thing is that whatever game it is. I don't know if it's WoW or something else,
right? But
maybe move yourself into an older, or more mature acting, rather, because not necessarily older, because there's some real mature younger people out there, and just move yourself into a different group if you need to, or just take their idiocy into account and forgive them, for they know not what they do. That true. You could do either way, whichever way works for you.
It's very true. It's very true. Now we've started a debate in the chat room about children, so that was not my intent, you guys. Oh, I love it. So those are the thoughts I have. But you know what? You're not alone, because I've most definitely felt exactly what you've described, and the way that I've overcome it is to try to put myself in the other person's shoes more often than not. I will admit that it becomes harder and harder these days in certain scenarios. But it's, when you're talking about people that you spend time with and interact with, that's probably the best way to handle it. And it's okay too to think about possibly going to talk to a counselor or a therapist too. When you feel like you said, I've lost something and I don't know how to find it. We are the sum of our experiences. We are our personality is shaped by the people around us and the people we've known all our lives, our families, and it's like, there could be stuff that's deep down that has never really been discussed or unearthed that could very much be benefited by talking with a therapist. So I will throw that out there as well.
Yeah, definitely. Couldn't hoit.
I don't know. Did you see the cat walk over here? He decided that his bed was not needed to be in, so he just got out of it. Okay. That is our Think Tank question of the night. You guys can send your feedback, your thoughts, your own questions to questions@taurentthinktank.com. You can tweet us at Tauren Think Tank, or you can get on Discord. We've got a discussion topic room on Discord, and it's tinyurl.com/TTT-chat2. That's the quick link to get to our Discord server to join up on it. It's a really good community. I like those people. You should too.
Yes, you should.
Cool. All right. Let's do some tell us one thing. And boy, this one, I had a ton of fun with the answers to this one this week. So let's go have some fun with our listeners right now.
We read your submissions because reading your mind would just be creepy.
So I had the questions this week, and I chose the following. First question: What scene from a movie completely scarred you for life as a kid?
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Oh,
And the answers to this question, I was like, that one too. Yeah, that one too. Like I definitely had those moments. But my number one scarred for life moment was, and this movie came up a lot in our answers, Poltergeist. Poltergeist was on HBO. You know, I was an HBO kid. I call myself because we had the HBO network, or the channel, and and so it would play the same movies over and over and over again. I saw Poltergeist a ton. And that movie, there was a scene in that movie where there's a guy who's in the kitchen, and he is like, the poltergeist makes him see a steak moving across the counter, all maggoty and gross. But have you seen this movie? Do you know this movie?
I have not. I know of it, but I haven't seen it all the way through.
There is a scene in that movie where he goes into the bathroom after he's washing his hands with this maggoty steak, and he starts to pull his face off. He starts to pull chunks of his face off, and it gets bloody and disgusting. And I like that scene destroyed me as a kid. Oh my God, it destroyed me.
I think I've seen the Family Guy reference to that because Peter does something similar.
Yeah.
And that was
it's
gross
in his
enough.
head, like you realize that he actually didn't do it, but
but still.
But he thinks he did, and then he's like, "Oh my God, I almost really did," and it was awful. It's like the grossest thing I've ever seen in my life, and so that is the scene from a movie that scarred me for life. Like I couldn't watch that to this day. I would not be able to watch that scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, that makes me uncomfortable thinking about
it's
that.
Terrible.
Well, and that one actually reminded me of one. I had an idea because I couldn't really think of one because my parents didn't let me watch scary movies growing up. So, like, I remember seeing the box art for Silence of the Lambs and thought it was kind of neat and pointed to my mom. She's like, "No, you are not watching that."
Yeah.
So I didn't watch my first R-rated movie. My first R-rated movie was Terminal Velocity with Charlie Sheen. It wasn't even a bad movie. It was about skydiving people and stuff. And I saw that with my parents, like in high school. But my first like scary movie was The Ring, and I was in college. So I never saw horror movies growing up. No Nightmare on Elm Street, no none of that stuff. But the one that I was originally going to say, and I never even saw the movie. It's just the box art is from Ghoulies from 1984.
Yes.
The little monster is in the toilet. What more vulnerable spot to be in when something evil is going to attack you than when you are on the porcelain throne? And that freaked me out. It gave me nightmares. I didn't want to sit on the toilet for too long because I'm like checking the bowl. I'm like making sure there's nothing, coming up to say hi and like kill me or something, or like pull me down through the toilet or something. Had nightmares about that. So that was the first one I was going to think, but that scene that you were talking about for Poltergeist reminded me of the little clips from The Fly that I saw.
Oh yeah,
with him pulling off his fingernails and his teeth falling, all that gross stuff.
Yep.
Like, ugh, it gives me the willies.
Yeah.
Just ugh.
And totally willy. That's like totally willies. And we got a lot of answers. I couldn't use them
a lot
all.
of good ones. Yeah.
Yeah. Man of Brownie says, when I was a kid, I watched a scene in the first Final Destination movie from behind the couch while my mom didn't know. In the scene, a girl gets electrocuted by falling posts in a rainstorm. Scared me away from being anywhere near anything electric in the rain.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Ugh. Bim, the good call on this one, Bim. Bim says the face melting scene from Indiana Jones and the Lost Ark.
I thought that was awesome as a kid, though.
Well, I did too, but it was still kind of freaky. Well, what's even worse was in the Holy Grail or the Last Crusade when the guy drinks from the wrong cup and he like turns to his face ages really fast, and his eyes roll back in his head, and he like turns to dust. I was like, ugh. Yeah. That was another one that freaked me out a little bit.
See, Kalani got the one that really got me from the Indiana Jones
series.
The Temple of Doom one where the guy takes the heart out. Kalima Shakti Day.
That one freaked me out too.
I was
Ugh.
definitely like that messed me up because he holds up the heart and it's still beating and it's
Still
got blood
beat-
coming in it.
and he's staring at his own heart coming out of his chest.
That was gross and freaky for
Ugh.
sure. I know.
Ugh, goodness. Good call, Kalani.
Yes.
And Torek says Jurassic Park. I was way too young for the deaths in that movie. It didn't help that my best friend and I watched it the same night our neighbor passed away and was our first encounter having someone we know die. So it made the idea of death we were seeing in the movie that much more impressionable on our young minds. Still one of my all-time favorite movies, though.
I was old enough to not like didn't freak me out for like scarring me, but it definitely scared me. Like I saw that movie again later on, and I was like, yeah, this movie is kind of freaky, scary, especially for a little kid.
Oh yeah, and my sister was 8 when we saw it, and she would have nightmares and wake up and hear the T-Rex outside the house. And the velociraptors, like the kitchen scene would get her.
Yeah, the kitchen scene. Yes.
Oh,
yes,
yeah.
Yes. MacGyver says the never-ending story. Don't laugh. That scene where the planet is destroyed and the tower is floating and the princess is dying gave me nightmares at age 6, and I've never watched it since.
Yeah, that's a really sad scene. Ugh. I mean, I ain't laughing. I ain't laughing at all.
The wolf scared me to death.
Yeah.
I mean,
when the horse was in the swamp and his horse died, that messed me up.
Yes, that messed me up too. So yeah, all that.
Well, let's see. Magic Myth Mayhem says the first live action Scooby-Doo movie. The whole thing with the ritual in the cave scared the heck out of 8-year-old me.
Oh, I can imagine. Mammoth says the RoboCop scene where the guy takes an acid bath and goes splat on a car in the goo. Into goo. I said, yeah, that one for sure. Like,
I don't remember that part, and I think I probably watched that movie. I don't remember it.
So like he gets this acid, this entire like this chemical like poured on him, and his skin is melting off, and he gets hit by a car, and it goes sploosh onto the windshield. And the scene is filmed from inside the car, so you could just see the entire body liquefy. It is disgusting.
Oh,
I've seen that movie tons of times.
And that that was a very gruesome movie to watch at my age.
There was a lot of gory blood in that movie. Like, yeah, I saw that. I want to say I was probably like 11 or 12, and it was probably the most violent movie I had ever seen at that point, because there is a ton of like bloody, gunshotty, ripping people up kind of stuff, and it's just yeah, it's a violent movie.
It's very, very brutal, very brutal. Broken Bones says the 80s horror movie Night of the Creeps. That scene where the guy goes into the public bathroom followed by one of the infected Walking Dead humans. The head explodes on the zombie and these giant alien slugs come out, and then they take over the guy by forcing their way in through his mouth in the bathroom stall.
Oh.
Freaks me out just thinking about it.
I've never seen that. Yeah. I would not watch that.
Yeah, me too. That freaks me out, and I've never seen it either.
Oh,
Great question this week, Jules. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm not hungry at all anymore.
Sorry. Zytem says
1 second.
Jaws. I was scared. I was 9, and I remember going with my family and cowering behind the seat. I was so scared. Yeah, this movie scared the shit out of me.
Oh yeah, good call.
Oh, for sure.
At Cinder Luna says Gremlins. I was very little when I first saw it and unwilling to rewatch it as an adult. The idea of midnight snacking causes terrors.
Anna Morgan, Nymeria, 941. The scene where E.T. is dying used to freak me out. The first time I saw it, I burst into tears and ran out of the room. My parents had to coax me back in so we could finish the movie. Yeah, that wrecked the crap out of me too.
Yeah, that was tough. It was just sad. Now I was more scared of the guys in the astronaut suits when they're trying to like get him.
Yes.
Even though I was a big space nerd as a kid and I love astronauts and stuff, that was more scarier than E.T. was.
Yeah, definitely.
Stellar Leader at Impobility. I'm probably messing that up. But anyway, Stellar Leader says that scene in Poltergeist when someone's attacked by their toothbrush. I hate that movie, and I still refuse to watch it again.
I do not remember someone getting attacked by a toothbrush in Poltergeist. There was a
Mm.
lot of stuff that happened in that movie, but a toothbrush attack didn't. I don't remember that one. Sorry.
Ugh. Still, that may.
I know. I know. Zato Spy Hunter 66 says Charlotte's Web. I don't think I need to clarify. Still makes me sad when I think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
Yep, definitely. And finally, for this one, Night Vale says the earwig scene in Wrath of Khan. I still look away whenever it comes on.
That scene, yes. That's like the second worst, like, scarring for life for me. And I remember vividly where I saw that for the first time because I think it was at my grandmother's house and we were all over there for some kind of thing, like a family event. So there was like my uncles were there. They were watching it on the television. I wasn't watching the movie, but I saw that scene from like, you know, sitting from the back of the room and it messed me up. Like I was so freaked out by the fact that you could like, there's a thing that went into his ear. It's a bug. Oh, it was so gross. It was so gross. No, couldn't do it. Couldn't do it.
Rest of the movie is good.
It is really
Earwig, not so much.
Not so much. Question number 2. What's the most epic way you've seen someone quit or be fired?
This one I couldn't. I had heard of friends that had quit and did a big show and quit or got fired or something like that. But the only one that I've ever seen was when I first started working at my job. This is almost 8 years ago. We had a guy at the checkout who was kind of a smart ass. You know, he had smart mouth. He would mouth off to the the managers, and he was, you know, I mean, he was nice to me. I was nice to him, but he had a bit of an attitude problem. And I was at the front of the store, and I remember him yelling something at the back of the store, and like stomping up towards the exit. And as he's doing, he's ripping off his uniform shirt, and he like throws it on the ground. And like turns around and does a big F you, and then like storms out the store.
Oh my gosh.
I was like, well, okay.
That's okay.
That's something.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never done that. I always like to leave on good terms, but that's how he did it. What about you?
So mine was, I was a supervisor. I worked for a catalog company, and I was a supervisor for the call center. And so we had a bunch during the Christmas season, because it was like a Christmas, you know, toy company. There was like a lot of seasonal employees that would come in and out. So you just like, you never knew who you were going to get. And sometimes you just needed to hire a bunch of people that maybe weren't so like appropriate for the job because you needed bodies. And
we do that too. Yeah.
Yeah. So we had this, there was a girl who was working on the floor. She was on the phone, and there was another girl who was in one of the training classes. And I was hearing problems from the trainers. They were telling me that this one girl was having an issue with the girl that was on the floor taking calls. And I realized that the girl on the floor who was supposed to be taking calls has left. And I see two of them walking out towards the parking lot. And the issue that they had been having is that these two girls and they were young girls, were dating the same guy. And so there was like, one found out about the other kind of thing. So I walk downstairs, I walk out to the parking lot, and the two of them are nose to nose yelling at each other.
Ooh.
And so I approach them, and I tell the girl who's supposed to be working, I'm like, you need to get inside now. You are on the clock. You're not on break. Get on. And she turns to me and she starts yelling at me. And I said, you are employed here. You are in training. If you are going to quit now. And she takes her key card to get in the door, slams it on the ground in the parking lot, and stalks off to her car.
Well, there you go.
And the other one gets in her car, the one in training, or goes to go after the car. So I'm now calling security. And the security guys are ripping me a new one. They're like, how can you should never be in that parking lot without backup, blah, 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 blah. I mean, it wasn't like a bad neighborhood or anything. They were just afraid of what these girls were going to do to me. Because they were literally like nose to nose, like gonna fight. And so I got reprimanded for getting in the middle of that. And I'm like, I'm doing my job. I'm the supervisor on duty. They're supposed to be working. So yeah, so that's how she quit.
Oh wow. Yeah, that's a good way to do it.
Yeah, and the other one was fired because she didn't stay through training. So.
Well, yeah. Guess they weren't quite ready for that type of work.
Yeah, drama.
Yeah.
I had a lot of drama in that job. Oh my gosh. I mean, we had someone who attempted suicide in the bathroom. It was just.
Oh wow.
I mean, we had stuff. We had someone who would come to drunk to work every day and hide her bottles in the bathroom. It was like just bad stuff. I'm really, really glad I don't work in corporate America anymore. I learned a lot, but I don't know if I want to do that again. So.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, there's pros and cons to that for sure.
Yeah, exactly. So we asked you guys how what the most epic way you've seen someone quit or get fired, and Torek says not exactly cool, but definitely memorable. The guy at the desk next to me didn't show up one morning. We found out he wasn't coming in when we saw him on the news, arrested for armed robbery of a liquor store. Safe to say he was fired at that point.
Yeah, that's a safe bet.
Yeah.
Wow. Aunt Namiria 941 says, this happened to my friend. She works at a restaurant, and a cook quit by throwing a whole cake on the ground and storming out.
That's how you make an exit.
I threw it on the ground. I threw the rest of the cake. Oh man, that's funny.
Gosh. The JDC says, and that's Josh, he says, had a guy down 6 beers, stuff his jacket with frozen sausages, and try to stumble away from the security guys. Firing was an easy decision.
Wow. What's the thought process on that one?
That is an epic moment.
Yeah, that's like, I don't care what happens. I want beers and sausage.
I want beer and sausages. I want beer and sausages.
The new hit track from Triple T Records. Beer and sausage.
Beer and sausage.
The dynamic duo.
Yes.
Okay, let's see here. MacGyver says, my first job in IT, help desk, of course, and our trainer, who was an old hand and had been working for the company for years, found out that the intranet web page wasn't protected with a password and changed it. Nothing offensive. He was sacked on the spot, and Frog marched out, cardboard box under the arm. Certainly put the frightened into anyone that thought it was a harmless prank.
There you go. Like, change a password, get fired. Oof.
Yeah, well, he changed the intranet page.
Yeah.
So, like, whenever they logged onto that, it was changed. That's interesting.
That's not good at all.
Oh, that sucks.
Kalani has an interesting one here. He says,
it's a couple paragraphs. Yeah, I could tell.
I was the assistant manager of the store I worked at. When we had to process returns, we were required to collect a certain amount of personal information about the person returning the item, especially if the refund was given in cash. If the returned item was perishable and opened, we just dumped it in the dumpster and saved the barcode from the package. The store manager or I would review the previous day's return each day. So one time on November 1st, I was reviewing the previous day's returns. One of them caught my eye. The information on it seemed to trigger something in my memory, but I couldn't put my finger on it, so I left it out to review with the store manager. When he got there and I showed it to him, he turned white as a sheet. The name on it was a previous employee, the employee I had actually been hired to replace. The reason he no longer worked there, he had been shot and killed in a fight at a bar. It turned out the employee who had processed the return had been saving receipts when people paid cash for perishable items and didn't want the receipt, and then was processing the return by selecting a random customer from the database and pocketing the cash. Needless to say, we fired her, but it was quite spooky, a coincidence that the fraudulent return that got her caught was the one she chose the deceased former employee's name on the day before November 1st on Halloween.
That is very freaky.
Isn't that creepy?
Oh man.
I know. That was really freaking
Ooh.
weird.
Oh, it gave me a little bit of chill there.
Right? I know.
Oh. And see, finally from GDS MGL, one of the people I worked with at the gas station decided to rob the place. He worked overnight and thought he could get away with it. He came into work, worked for about 2 to 3 hours, and then called our boss to say that he had to leave for a family emergency, and that since he didn't have a key to lock the front door from the outside, he would just prop open the side door and lock the front one from the inside. He then left the building and got his buddy. They went back and opened up the side door and started loading stuff into his SUV. He then stole some of the stuff from behind the counter and broke into the back room to steal the tapes. He went out the side door and went home. He came into work the next day like nothing was wrong and was greeted by the police. Our boss came in. Our boss called him a complete moron because he stole a bunch of Gatorade, then went after cigarettes, only getting about 20 cartons. He was smart enough to unload everything before coming back to work, but he was wearing gloves during the entire thing. Fingerprints around the tape recorders, and he had priors. Needless to say, he wasn't working there anymore.
Oops.
Oopsie.
Oopsie. Yeah, so there's your epic firing or quit stories for you.
Yep.
Pretty cool. And that is Tell Us One Thing. Tell Us One Thing. We do a new set of questions every week. You can find them on our Discord server. And that is tinyurl.com/TTTchat2. You can come in there. You can also find them on our Twitter, which is at Tauren Think Tank. And yeah, we come up with new questions every week. It's kind of fun. And we learn more about you guys too. So I like it. And now
I do too.
Now it is time for the slash moo. We have just a couple in our list in here. So chat room, if you have slash moos, you are given your warning now to add them to there. Draven Dresden says, slash moo to Steven Spielberg and Warner Brothers for finally making a movie I can get excited about. He's talking about Ready Player One. The last movie that I was this excited for was Dark Knight.
I got to agree with you there, buddy. I am stoked to see that. Can't
I really
wait.
hope it's awesome.
Yeah. I know it's not going to be the book, but the look looks right.
Okay.
It looks like they did it justice.
Yeah.
And our other one comes from Mehmet, who says, slash move for my sister, who is dealing with a soon-to-be ex-husband that could not grow up.
Oh, that's sorry. That sucks.
Yeah.
I'm going to give a slash moo to my trainers, Nicole and Tim from Heroes of Fitness, because they are amazing. They are awesome, and they make me feel better every single day about what I'm trying to do. So I am very, very glad that I got a chance to meet them. And the ironic, interesting part of it is that they both live here in Minneapolis area. And I found them because I found them on the launcher for Heroes of the Storm. They were on the launcher, saw them on Twitch, and then realized they lived in the same city. So that's pretty awesome.
That is really awesome.
Yeah, super cool. Yeah, like we live 15 minutes away from each other. It is so cool. Yeah, so Marconin, that is a show.
It is a show.
We made a
I
show.
do believe it is.
I do declare that we have made a show. And that was a really
Yes,
bad accent.
honey.
Yes.
Yes.
So anything that is going on for you this week?
Goodness. Let's see. Just more crafty stuff, more work stuff. That's about it. Just the normal stuff. I kind of cleaned up over here in the room for my craft table.
Yep.
And got it all set up because I know we were talking about changing up some things. You were rearranging your room. I did a little bit myself.
Yeah.
And it's good to rearrange some stuff and get a fresh take on the room. It feels new,
Yeah.
It feels like walking to a new place. And so just trying to be crafty. I would stream that stuff, but right now it's a surprise. So maybe after the surprise, then maybe I'll stream some of that stuff.
It is like, it's pretty awesome to like have it in your head and have the ideas of what you're putting together and be ready to just like, yeah, I'm going to do this. And so you don't have to stream and share it with the world. It's just, whatever you got there going on. It's just make more stuff. That is the that is the thoughts that I'm thinking about. Make more stuff. It's the best
Yeah.
thing. I'm in the process of making something for Marconin, so
She may have showed me the progress before the show.
I may have shown the progress so far. I am making Marconin his lanyard for BlizzCon. It's so cool.
Yeah.
This one takes a while. This is a weave that takes a while to like move forward in, because it's like a lot of each block of color is 12 rings in itself. So it's just getting the forward motion. So I've worked on it quite a bit, and then I'm just like, oh, I've only gotten halfway there. But I sit there and watch HBO stuff and get stuff done that way. It's pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I'm working on some of the stuff that we have for the BlizzCon. So I've got one of my 2 lanyards that I still need to complete for the CTR party. I have what they want. I don't know the other ones yet, so we're gonna be like, I guess making more stuff. Just make stuff. It's fun.
Gotta make stuff.
That's right.
Well, and I told you that me doing this stuff was kind of inspired by hanging out with you and Nevermore during Nerdtacular and watching you guys work. I was like, I want to do something.
I know.
I want to make something.
I know. I have like a list of things in my head right now of projects that I want to accomplish, and I just need to like decide which one of them I'm going to tackle. Like, one of them is very ambitious, and so I'm like, oh, it's going to take a lot. I want to make a scarf. I want to make a chainmail scarf.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Like a full-on, like 2-stranded, scarf.
Oh.
So,
wow.
and I know what I want to do. It's just like, I just need to make it. So, yeah, it's just, so awesome. I'm so excited. But I have to like just go and get the supplies and like start making it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so there's nothing that I have on the docket right now that's like, I don't have any shows specifically planned. We have the Minnesota meetup. I gotta talk about that for a second.
That's right.
I keep forgetting to mention that on this show. The Minnesota meetup is coming. It's next weekend. It's actually on the 5th of August. If you are in the Minnesota area, we are meeting at New Bohemia Roseville. And it's the big one that we do every year. Just getting together and drinking beers and stuff like that. So, but yeah, it's if you go to Facebook and go to facebook.com/, look for Convert to Raid Minnesota Meetups. That's the group that's got it going on, and you guys can join us there. It's pretty awesome. It's from 2 to 7 on August 5th at New Bohemia Roseville. If you have any questions about where it is, just send a message to the show, and I'll send you the link to the Facebook thingy that we made.
Awesome. I wish I could be there.
I know.
Awesome.
I wish you could too. It would be so much fun, but
I know.
at some point we'll
maybe
get
the
you
next
out.
one.
Yeah, I mean, at some point we'll get you out here so you can experience the Minnesota State Fair too.
Oh yeah, I need to do that.
Because that is an experience. That would be.
Oh yeah.
That would be a total Marconin, and there's so many freaking Pokemon Pokestops there. Like, holy crap! So.
Now you're speaking my language.
I'm speaking your language, and it's probably Pokemon in this area that you don't have. So.
Well, I almost have all of the original 151 done.
Oh, do you?
I need a Gengar, an Electrode, and a Dragonite. Those are the only 3 I need from the originals, other than the legendaries. I've been doing a lot of work. I've been putting in work. So
putting in work.
I'm a collector. I have to. You know this.
That's
you know
awesome.
this.
That's awesome. So with that, we are going to bring this show to a close, and we are going to do so just like this, if I can find my soundboard and do it. Just like this. Tauren Think Tank is a proud member of the Signals Media All-Star Network. Find out more about the other great shows in the network by going to signalsmedia.com.
Portions of the music and sound effects heard on this show can be found at incompetech.com and freesound.org. You can find us outside of the show on our website, that's taurenthinktank.com, which has all of our podcasts and information on how to get in touch with us too. And if you're wanting to add a little Triple T merchandise to your closet, to your laptop bag, you need to find out where that is, right? You want me to tell you? I'll tell you right now where you can find that cool Triple T swag. Go to taurenThinkTank.com/store. Get yourself a t-shirt.
Get yourself a t-shirt. Thank you to all who support our show via Patreon. If you would like to help out Triple T and support the show, you can do so at patreon.com/TaurenThinkTank. Want to meet other members of the Triple T community? Join our Discord server. It's awesome. The quick way to get there is tinyurl.com/TTTchat2.
Yep. And you can also like us on Facebook at facebook.com/TaurenThinkTank. You can find us on Twitter at 140 characters or less at TaurenThinkTank for the show, at Jules RPG for Jules, and at Marconin Wow for me.
For you.
For me.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, chat room, for being with us tonight and hanging out every Thursday night at 8 o'clock Central Daylight Time. You can find us on the video stream at twitch.tv/TaurenThinkTank. We love seeing you here with us. However, you can join us anywhere we are. Join us.
Yes, we do.
We're here. It's awesome. Marconin,
Jules.
thank you for an awesome show. I'm so discombobulated, I swear. I'm going to figure this out someday.
Yeah, we're gonna iron this whole like podcast thing out one of these days.
One of these days.
We'll get the hang of it one of these days.
Learn how to do this podcasting thing.
We'll get there one day.
Thank you for an awesome show, and I will see you next week.
Well, thank you as well, and I'll see you next week. See you next week as well, everybody.
You got it. For myself, from Marconin, for the entire chat room. Until next time. /moo, everybody.
/moo.
Tauren Think Tank. We make your problems less bad.
This podcast is a part of the Signals Media All-Star Network. For more information on this and other fine shows, go to signalsmedia.com. It's okay to stick our stuff in your ears. Really?
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 I don't know where the trolls came. I think I do know where the trolls came from.
Oh yeah.
So I added us to the community positivity on Twitch.
Ah.
And so it was a new like grouping of where we were placed in the listings too. And we got hosted by a show, I don't even know who it, or a channel that's called My Dumb Questions. So I don't know if it like literally just like sent people in or what, but they all kind of came in at the same time, and I didn't see the host. I don't know when the host happened. I did not see that, but
oh well. Like what was it that Draven said? He's like where is it? It's like we're better at it than you. Oh
yeah.
We're better at it than you, and we've done it for far longer.
We're older and smarter.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he's a silly trolls. We're better at it than you, and there's more of us.
Well, Draven has a sword now too. So
yes, he does.
Sword fight. Hi, Garrus. You want to come up and say hi?
I guess that's a good thing and a bad thing, Bim.
I know.
So.
We have a nice community. Like there's not a huge problem with anything, but
no.
Yeah. Sword fight. Let's go.
I'm older and have better insurance. I like that, Wicked.
That is a great line.
Okay, let's see.
All
Which
right,
one? He's got the show titles. Raid Night in Real Life. Pools are germ-filled, pee-ridden, kid-infested nightmares.
Too long.
It wasn't too long. Teaching an old dog new tricks. Beer and sausages. Gengar's electrodes and Dragonites. Oh my. Band Raven. He's the worst. No, really, he's the worst.
Let's see.
Here.
I like beer and sausages and Raid Night in Real Life.
I like both of those too. You want to do Raid Night in Real Life?
Yeah, let's do that.
All right. I like that one.
Let's do that.
I like beer and sausages too. And
I
that
like
is
beer and sausages. I like beer and sausages. I don't have a closing to that.
You can say, I like beer and sausages. How about you?
Oh, see?
I like beer and sausages. Yes, I do. I like beer and sausages. How about you?
Oh my god.
Oh no, he says something about
What did you
Discord.
do?
What did you do, Draven?
Oh
There.
my god.
There's the punk Jules.
Oh my god.
It's good. See,
What?
that's pretty much exactly what I had in my head for
Oh
punk
no.
Jules. Punk rock Jules. Yeah.
Oh my
Uh,
god. That's so bad. I love it. When I say I was a punk, I meant I was like an annoying piece of crap. Like,
Yeah.
I wasn't cool enough to be that kind of punk.
but yeah, that's pretty much what I had in my head whenever you said that.
It's awesome. I was a punk in my 20s. That's awful. I love it. It's hilarious, actually.
Yeah, I'm digging it.
I'm digging it.
I'm digging it.
I'm digging
Yes.
it. I'm digging it. Oh, it's warm in here.
Yeah. Oh, hey, yeah. I can turn on the
You can
turn on the fan again.
Turn your fan
You
on.
can turn your fan on. If you leave your hat on.
You can turn your fan on. Yeah, that's just.
That's just stuff.
Oh, it's too funny. Hi,
Yeah.
Garrus. You want to come say hi?
What do you think of the Thor Ragnarok trailer they put out?
That's awesome.
The new one.
I think the movie's going to be really great.
I think so too. I know. Well, after they played that first one, the teaser, and it had the immigrant song from Zeppelin, and it had all this kind of like weird Guardians of the Galaxy feel to it, and they're like, "Oh, the movie's not going to be like that." I was like, "Oh, really?" Because I kind of like that feel.
Yeah.
And then after seeing this other trailer, I'm like, "Okay, good." There's a lot of levity thrown in here, and Chris Hemsworth was interviewed and said that this Thor's personality is the most like his own that he's been able to do.
Yeah.
So, oh hey Gareth.
Hi, baby.
Oh,
Hi, baby.
well, that's another reason to come back up to Minnesota so I can pet the cats. I want
Can
to see
meet the
Gareth.
kitties. Yes.
Oh,
Hi, baby. He's such a sweetie. Oh, he's so pretty.
oh,
You're so pretty. Yes.
pretty kitty.
He's just like, at least he waits until the end of the show. Like,
Mm-hmm.
come give me hugs. Yeah. You give me hugs. Oh, hello. You show yourself to the camera. Yeah. Hi. Bye-bye.
And I'm done. Thanks for the loving.
Thank you. I'm done.
Oh yeah, Kate Blanchett is Hela. Yeah, she seems to be getting the role pretty well.
She looks like she is a badass. That looks so good. And you know what? The Justice League trailer looked really good too.
It did,
Yeah.
and that made me even more excited for it because I was like, I am ready for it to be not so dire, not so grim. You know, I can understand, and I'm a defender. I'm an ardent defender of Man of Steel for what it was. You know, I really loved Man of Steel, but the Batman versus Superman I was okay with.
Yeah,
but
I
I
didn't
just
see it.
I was like, Superman needs to smile. He didn't smile once during that movie.
Yeah.
During Batman versus Superman.
He's like too
And-
broody and mad and grumpy. And,
Yeah. Yeah, they just went too far over. Like, you can have a good mix. And I'm hoping that this, you know, when we see him again, it's going to be that bright, shining, you know, Boy Scout, you know.
Yeah.
I actually have not seen the extended one yet, Draven, and I need to because I know they added the stuff they cut out. I've been meaning to, I just haven't had a chance yet. But I agree, man. Ready Player One hit all the right buttons for me. I watched it in the car or in the backseat of my coworker's truck because we were driving around doing Pokemon stuff, and he had just listened to the audiobook at my recommendation like 2 weeks before. And I just could not wait any longer. I was holding on. I was going to wait to watch it with him, and he was talking to his friend up in the front, and I was like, screw it. So I put on my headphones and I watched it, and they turned around because I guess I made a noise. I think it was one of those noises. 'Cause it was when I saw the DeLorean. I just kind of like, you know. It's my childhood
You
all in
totally
one movie.
geeked out.
Oh, I did, and it was audible because they both went, "What are you doing?" And I was just like, I just looked up and said, "I just watched the trailer." He's like, "You watched it without me?" I was like, "Oh, I couldn't help it." Just in that pure imagination, the orchestral version, it's just so
Yeah, it's so good.
love it.
Yeah, I didn't have that same kind of reaction that you did, but I'm cautiously optimistic about it. Like I'm
Yeah,
just
I mean,
cautiously optimistic. That book really, really, really resonated with me, and I'm hoping that it doesn't get stripped of its joy, and like that feeling of I have to know what's going to happen next because I cannot put this down.
yeah, that's one thing I am worried about, but I know that Klein did help write it. And so, within reason, I think he hopefully would keep that joy and
Yeah.
keep that sense of wonder in it. And we'll be true to the spirit, because that's why that's what, it had that reaction to me because of just seeing the DeLorean again and all of those little Easter eggs. Because I love the Iron Giant. They did say he was going to play a major role in the movie. Iron Giant was. So I know it's different. And I'm okay with that being different. I just want the feel and that, like you said, the joy and the message and the feeling to resonate through.
Yeah.
And if they can do that, I'll be happy, because I know Daito and Shoto are not on the IMDb list, so I think they were written out completely. So maybe they wanted to contain the story geographically and not have people from Japan or across the world come. So we'll see. We'll see. But I'm very excited about it. And hello, Mom. Thank you. Yes, I love my chair too.
It's pretty cool.
I like it. It's my color.
It's your color. All right, folks. I'm going to get out of here so we can get the show edited and posted. And we had a blast with you tonight. Thank you guys so much for joining us, for being part of the discussion. And we will see you next week.
Yes, we will. Folks, have a wonderful weekend. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. And we'll see you next Thursday, guys.
Slash moo, everybody.
Slash moo, guys.